Hi class, Mr. Martinez here, and I wanted to go over the results of the assessment that we did. That is the Eclipse and Seasons assessment. Okay, so we got 15 uh, participants who took the quiz, and we can see here that we have an average of 29 out of 38. And before I go over the frequently missed questions, I wanted you guys to take a look at this here. This is a spreadsheet of the scores. Go ahead and pause right now if you guys need a second to look at it. Okay. And as you can see, the highest score was the 38 out of 38. And we got here another 38. So good job to you too. Okay. So let's go over the questions. Okay. So the first question asks, what is an eclipse? So the choices were an eclipse is when the sun hides from the moon hides behind the sun, the light from one body is blocked by another body, and when the sunlight is blocked by the stars. Okay, so um, I could see how some of you guys might have selected that the sun hides from the moon. You guys were assuming that I meant that the sun is hiding behind the moon. Sorry if that tripped any of you guys up. But the correct answer was that the light from one body is blocked by another body. So we're talking here about a celestial body. So the light from the sun is being blocked by either the earth or the moon. Okay, this is one of the most missed questions. So I thought I'd go over in detail that one. Okay, all of you guys got this part correct. The two main parts of a shadow cast during an eclipse are the umbra and the penumbra. So good job on that. Okay, this question here, what type of eclipse is shown in this image? And the image was, one moment, this one here. Okay, remember that this is a total eclipse, and you could tell that because you don't see the moon off to the side or blocking only a part of the sun. It's directly in front, covering the almost the entirety of the sun. This could be sometimes confused with an annular eclipse, but remember the annular eclipse shows more of the sun, and it looks more like a solid ring around the moon. So the correct answer was a total solar eclipse. Okay. In the next question, I presented you guys with this image. What type of eclipse is shown in this image? Okay. So this here is the moon, and we can tell the moon it is the moon because you could see the what would you call like spots here, which are actually like the craters of the moon. And you can see here that part of the moon is being blocked off. So this would be a partial lunar eclipse. Okay. All right. So the next part I asked, people who experience a total solar eclipse are in what part of the shadow? Okay, so remember that we said that there are two parts of the shadow, the umbra and the penumbra. And the correct response was the umbra. a lot of you guys did write a complete sentence and it marked it as wrong, but I have gone back and corrected that. Okay, so if you guys put in some part of your response that it is the umbra, I counted it correct. Okay, the next question was people who experience a partial solar eclipse are in what part of the shadow? And then that one, similar to the previous one, it marked some of them wrong. But as long as you included that it was the penumbra in some part of your response, I marked it as correct. Okay, for the second part of the quiz, well, the second part of the quiz was about seasons. Okay, the first question was the equator is a line that divides the Earth into two equal parts. What do we call those two equal parts? We call it the northern and southern hemisphere. Okay, remember that when the Earth is divided by the Earth can be divided into four different hemispheres: north, south, east, and western hemispheres. Okay, hemisphere. Remember that it means um, like half of a sphere. So a sphere is like a ball, and when we're dividing the Earth in half, we're dividing it like if it was half of a ball, and those are what the hemispheres are. Okay, true or false? All parts of the world have the same seasons at the same time. Remember that because of the Earth's tilt of the axis, that the the sunlight that we're receiving is different in different parts of the Earth. The amount of sunlight. Okay, so this is what causes different seasons at different hemispheres. Okay, what is an axis? Remember that we said that an axis is an imaginary line or pole on which the Earth rotates around. Okay, so it's, let me see if I can bring up an image. Okay, the Earth's axis is an imaginary pole on which the Earth is rotating on. Okay, and true or false, the Earth's axis is tilted by about 23.5 degrees. That is true, as you've seen in the image I just brought up. Okay, because of the axis's tilt, parts of the Earth have different light exposures. We call these two exposures direct and indirect sunlight. So most of you guys got that right. Good job. Okay, based on what you know about the tilt of the Earth's axis and different light exposures of light, check the boxes that apply for each season. Okay, let me go to. All right. So for this one, I wanted you guys to check in the box all that apply for each season. Maybe I should have included in here that they may have more than one box checked for each season. Okay, so when it is summer, mm, okay, so when it is summer, our hemisphere is receiving direct sunlight, and our hemisphere is also tilted towards the sun. Okay, look back to the PowerPoints that we did in the previous weeks. If you remember, I had posted these pictures up here as an example of the direct and indirect sunlight. So in our northern hemisphere, when it is summer, it's tilted towards the sun and receiving direct sunlight. Okay. And the next question is that when it is winter, our hemisphere is receiving indirect sunlight and is tilted away from the sun. And as you can see here in the top image, our Earth, our part of the Earth is tilted away from the sun and receiving indirect sunlight. Okay, when it is autumn or fall, and the correct response for this one was only one box that we needed to check off. Both of the hemispheres are receiving even amounts of sunlight. Okay, go back again to the PowerPoint. As you can see here, during spring and autumn, our well, neither hemisphere, neither north or south, is tilted towards the sun. Okay, so both are receiving even amounts of sunlight. Okay, so the same response would be correct for spring. Okay, and then for the last part, I wanted you guys to kind of think beyond of what we've learned today or learned in the past weeks. So in the image, I gave you guys the Earth's axis was not tilted, and instead the axis ran straight up and down, straight up and down, as if the Earth, and if the Earth was like this, I wanted you guys to think what effect that would have on our seasons. Okay. And most of your responses um, were pretty well thought out. Okay. Most of you guys said that the both sides of the Earth would receive even amounts of sunlight. There'd be no seasons, or there'd be only one season, which is a pretty good guess. Okay. So there are many crops, like fruits and vegetables, that grow only during certain seasons, and very few crops that'll grow all year round, like garlic, avocado, bananas. I think this is spinach. Okay, stuff like wheat and apples, they only grow during winter. And there's many animals that also need the seasons because they have their mating habits. They migrate. When it gets too cold or too hot, they're able to move from one part of the earth to another part of the earth that is more suited for their survival. Okay, without the seasons, these animals, many animals would likely die off because they're not suited for that type of environment all year round. And so that's what we would expect what would happen if there was only um, one season or no seasons, or if the Earth's axis was straight up and down. Okay. And the last question, I just wanted to see what you guys did to prepare for this quiz. And I see that a lot of you guys went through the slides again. Okay. So you guys all did a great job overall. And thank you guys um, for taking part in this quiz and for taking part in the lessons that I created. Hope you guys have a great week and have a great summer.